What if I told you that the endless voice in your head, the one that criticizes, overthinks, and never stops talking, is the very thing holding you back from peace, clarity, and freedom? Have you ever wondered what would happen if you could silence that voice? Right now, countless people are trapped in the mental noise that keeps them disconnected from life. And here's what they don't want you to know. Ancient traditions and modern science have uncovered ways to quiet the mind and experience profound transformation. But if you miss this, the mental chatter could control your life forever. This hidden knowledge has been buried for centuries, suppressed by those who profit from your stress and distraction. Are you ready to break free and discover the life waiting for you beyond the noise? Discover your purpose. Let's explore this together. Close your eyes for a moment and just listen. Not to the world around you, but to the world within. You might hear a constant stream of thoughts, judgments, plans, memories, or even random fragments of ideas. It feels unstoppable, doesn't it? But here's the truth. This inner dialogue isn't who you are. It's just noise, a mental habit formed over years of conditioning. And when you identify with it, when you believe that voice is you, it keeps you trapped in anxiety, stress, and disconnection from the life unfolding right in front of you. Exercise can help to create safety. Now imagine what it would be like to quiet that noise, to experience a moment of pure stillness, where your mind feels clear and your heart feels at peace. In that stillness, something profound happens. You begin to notice the world as it truly is, not filtered through the lens of your thoughts, but in its raw, beautiful simplicity. The sound of birds singing, the feeling of the sun on your skin, the quiet rhythm of your breath, these moments, free from mental chatter, are where life truly happens. And yet, we spend so much of our time lost in our own heads that we miss them. The constant voice in your head, the one that narrates, criticizes, and overanalyzes, has become like background noise in your life. It's so persistent that you might not even realize it's there, but it's always running, like a storm that never ends. This mental noise drains your energy, clouds your judgment, and creates a barrier between you and the present moment. It's like carrying around a heavy backpack filled with thoughts that don't serve you. Every regret, every worry, every imagined scenario adds to the weight. Over time it becomes exhausting. But what if you could put that backpack down? What if you could step out of the storm and into a space of stillness? This is not about suppressing your thoughts or fighting against them. It's about realizing that you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. Once you understand this, everything changes. The storm may still exist, but it no longer controls you. You become the calm eye at its center, watching the thoughts come and go without getting swept away. You might wonder why this constant inner dialogue exists in the first place. In many ways, it's a survival mechanism. Your mind evolved to solve problems, to plan and protect you from danger. But in modern life, where physical threats are rare, this problem-solving mind often turns inward, creating problems where none exist. It replays the past, trying to fix what can't be changed. It worries about the future, imagining scenarios that may never happen, and in doing so it pulls you away from the only place where life truly unfolds, the present moment. This is why silence is so powerful. In moments of stillness, when the voice in your head quiets, you reconnect with what is real. Silence is not just the absence of noise, it's the presence of something deeper, a sense of clarity, intuition, and peace. It's in these moments that you discover the truth of who you are, beyond the stories your mind tells. You are not your thoughts. You are not your worries. You are not the endless voice narrating your life. You are the awareness that hears it all. Imagine how your life would change if you could access this stillness more often. You would no longer be a prisoner of your own mind. Decisions would become clearer because they wouldn't be clouded by fear or doubt. Relationships would feel more authentic because you'd be fully present, listening with your heart instead of your head. And most importantly, you would experience a profound sense of freedom, the freedom to simply be without needing to analyze or control everything. The journey to this freedom begins with awareness. The next time you catch yourself lost in thought, pause for a moment. Notice the voice in your head. What is it saying? Is it replaying a conversation, worrying about tomorrow, judging yourself or others? Whatever it's doing, just observe it. Don't try to stop it or change it. Simply notice it. This act of observation creates a gap between you and your thoughts. In that gap, even if it's just for a second, you find a glimpse of stillness. This stillness is your true nature. It's always been there, waiting beneath the noise. The more you practice observing your thoughts without identifying with them, the more you'll experience this stillness. Over time, the voice in your head will lose its grip on you. It will still be there, but it will no longer define you. And in its place you'll find something far more valuable, a sense of peace that cannot be shaken by external circumstances. You don't have to live in a constant state of mental chatter. You don't have to be trapped in your own thoughts. The silence you seek is already within you, waiting to be rediscovered. All it takes is a willingness to let go of the noise and embrace the present moment. This is not just a practice, it's a way of being, and once you experience it, you'll wonder how you ever lived without it. Now, let's take this journey a step further. What happens when you stop talking to yourself? These are not just fleeting details, they are life itself, unfolding moment by moment. When you quiet the mind, you don't lose awareness, you gain it. You start to see the world as it really is, not as the mind filters it through endless stories and judgments. This is the power of present moment awareness. The voice in your head constantly pulls you away from the now, convincing you that peace and happiness lie somewhere else, in the future, in solving a problem, or in replaying a memory. But none of that is real. The past is gone and the future hasn't arrived. The only thing that exists is this moment, right here and now. And when you fully step into it, you realize it's enough. In fact, it's more than enough, it's everything. Imagine a moment when you're fully present. Perhaps you're sitting outside, feeling the warmth of the sun on your skin. Your mind is quiet. You're not thinking about what happened yesterday or worrying about tomorrow. You're simply there, experiencing the fullness of life. This is what happens when you stop talking to yourself. You connect with the essence of existence, a state of being that is calm, clear, and deeply fulfilling. But let's be honest, quieting the mind is easier said than done. The inner dialogue has been with you for so long that it feels like an inseparable part of who you are. And in many ways it's addictive. The mind loves to solve problems, replay scenarios, and imagine every possible outcome. It tricks you into believing that this constant mental activity is necessary, even helpful. But the truth is, it often creates more problems than it solves. It keeps you stuck in cycles of overthinking, stress, and dissatisfaction. Breaking free from this cycle begins with a simple practice: listening. Not to your thoughts, but to the world around you. The next time you find yourself lost in mental chatter, pause and listen. Maybe it's the sound of birds outside your window, the hum of distant traffic, or the gentle rhythm of your own breath. By shifting your attention to these sounds, you pull yourself out of your head and into the present moment. The listening grounds you in reality, reminding you that life is happening now, not in the stories your mind creates. Another powerful tool is focusing on your breath. The breath is always with you, a constant anchor in the flow of life. When you focus on the sensation of air entering and leaving your lungs, you naturally quiet the mind. Try it now. Take a deep breath in through your nose, feeling your chest and belly expand. Hold it for a moment, then exhale slowly through your mouth. Notice how your body relaxes, how the noise in your mind begins to fade. This simple act of breathing with awareness can transform any moment into one of peace and clarity. And what about those times when your thoughts feel overwhelming, when they seem to take on a life of their own? In these moments, try a technique called thought labeling. When a thought arises, instead of engaging with it, simply label it. For example, if you catch yourself worrying, you can say to yourself, worrying. If you're replaying a memory, you can say, remembering. This labeling creates a sense of distance between you and your thoughts. It reminds you that thoughts are just thoughts, not facts, not truths, and certainly not who you are. These practices may seem small, but their impact is profound. They teach you to step out of the stream of thought and into the space of awareness. And the more you practice, the more you'll notice how much lighter you feel. You'll no longer be weighed down by the endless chatter of your mind. Instead, you'll feel a sense of openness, as though a weight you didn't even realize you were carrying has been lifted. But the journey doesn't end there. As you quiet your mind, something extraordinary happens. You begin to see that the voice in your head was never in control. It just gave the illusion of control. This illusion is one of the greatest sources of stress in life. The mind convinces you that if you think enough, plan enough, or worry enough, you can control the outcome of every situation. But life doesn't work that way. It's unpredictable, dynamic, and beyond the grasp of any mental strategy. When you let go of this illusion of control, you experience a profound sense of freedom. You stop resisting what is and start flowing with life. This doesn't mean you stop making decisions or taking action. It means you stop trying to force outcomes. You trust the process, knowing that life has its own rhythm and intelligence. And in that trust, you find peace. Think about the last time you tried to control something that was out of your hands. Maybe it was a conversation or relationship or even the weather. How did it feel? Likely it created tension, frustration, or disappointment. Now imagine letting go of that need to control. Imagine accepting life as it is, without resistance. This doesn't mean you give up. It means you align yourself with reality, allowing life to unfold naturally, and in doing so you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. This is the power of quieting the mind and stepping into the present moment. It's not about escaping life. It's about embracing it fully, just as it is. When you stop talking to yourself, you create space for something far greater than the stories of your mind. You create space for life itself, a life that is vibrant, peaceful, and deeply connected to the world around you. Imagine what it feels like to flow with life instead of fighting against it. Picture yourself waking up in the morning, not consumed by mental chatter but present with the stillness of the new day. You notice the sound of birds singing outside your window, the way the light filters through the curtains, and the rhythm of your breath. You're not rushing to plan the day or replaying the past. You're simply here, fully alive. This is what happens when you stop talking to yourself. You reconnect with the essence of life. This shift doesn't mean your thoughts disappear completely. The mind will still produce thoughts. It's what it's designed to do. But the difference is that you no longer attach to those thoughts. You see them for what they are, fleeting, temporary, and often irrelevant. They're like clouds passing through the sky of your awareness. Some may linger, others may move quickly, but none of them define the vastness of the sky itself. You are that sky, spacious, unchanging, and free. The present moment becomes your new home. Instead of living in the stories of your mind, you live in the reality of now. And in this space, life begins to unfold with a natural harmony. You notice beauty in the smallest details. A child's laughter, the texture of a leaf, the feeling of water on your hands. These moments, often overlooked in the busyness of mental chatter, become profound when you're fully present for them. Life doesn't need to be extraordinary to be meaningful. It is meaningful simply because it is. As you quiet your mind, you also notice a deep sense of connection emerging. Connection to yourself, to others, and to the world around you. When the noise in your head fades, you make space for your intuition to speak. You start to trust yourself in a way you never have before. Decisions that once felt difficult become clearer because you're no longer second-guessing every step. You're acting from a place of stillness, not from fear or overthinking. This intuitive clarity is one of the greatest gifts of silence. Your relationships also transform. How often have you been in a conversation but not truly present? Maybe you were distracted by your own thoughts, planning what to say next, or judging what the other person was saying. When you stop talking to yourself, this dynamic shifts. You become fully engaged, truly listening, and deeply connecting. The people around you feel this presence, and your relationships grow stronger and more meaningful. Even your relationship with the natural world deepens. Have you ever stood outside and noticed how still and timeless nature feels? The trees, the mountains, the oceans. They're not rushing or overthinking. They simply exist, rooted in the present moment. When you quiet your mind, you align with this rhythm. You feel the interconnectedness of all life, and this connection brings a profound sense of peace. You realize that you too are a part of this great flow of existence. But perhaps the most transformative change is how you relate to challenges. Life will always have difficulties. This is an inescapable truth. But when you stop identifying with the voice in your head, those challenges lose their grip on you. Instead of reacting with fear, worry, or resistance, you respond with clarity and calm. You see the situation for what it is, not for the story your mind creates about it. This doesn't mean you suppress your emotions or ignore problems. It means you face them from a place of presence and strength, rather than from the chaos of mental chatter. Imagine being in a moment of difficulty, a disagreement with someone you care about, for example. In the past, your mind might have spiraled into blame, defensiveness, or anxiety. But now, with a quiet mind, you take a breath. You notice the emotions rising within you without letting them take over. You listen fully, not just to the other person's words, but to their emotions and intentions. And when it's your turn to speak, your words come from a place of understanding and compassion, not from the reactive voice of your thoughts. This is the power of silence in action. The practices that help you reach this state are simple, yet profound. One of the most effective is the art of labeling your thoughts. When a thought arises, instead of getting caught in it, you simply label it. Worrying, planning, judging. This practice creates space between you and the thought, reminding you that you are not your thoughts. Another technique is breath awareness, which anchors you in the present moment. Each time you notice your mind wandering, gently bring your focus back to your breath. Over time, this trains your mind to stay present and calm. Nature also offers a powerful tool for quieting the mind. Spend time in a park, a forest, or by the ocean. Notice the stillness and simplicity of the natural world. The trees don't hurry to grow, and the waves don't force themselves to crash. Nature operates in perfect harmony, reminding you that life doesn't need to be controlled to unfold beautifully. When you immerse yourself in this stillness, your own mind begins to reflect it. Even small rituals like sipping tea or watching the sunrise can become opportunities to quiet the mind. These moments are not about doing, they're about being. As you engage in these rituals, focus completely on the sensations and experiences of the moment. The warmth of the tea, the colors of the sky, the feeling of stillness within you. These practices help you build a habit of presence, which gradually replaces the habit of overthinking. As you continue on this journey, remember that quieting the mind is not about perfection. There will still be moments when your thoughts take over, and that's okay. What matters is your willingness to return to the present, again and again. Each time you do, you strengthen your connection to the silence within you, and over time, this silence becomes your natural state, a place of peace, clarity, and freedom. This transformation doesn't happen overnight, but it's worth every moment of effort, because when you stop talking to yourself, you don't lose anything, you gain everything. You gain the ability to experience life fully, to connect deeply, and to live with a sense of freedom that transcends the limitations of the mind. And that, perhaps, is the greatest gift of all. When you stop talking to yourself, a profound shift begins to take root. Life no longer feels like a struggle to control or a race to keep up. Instead, it becomes an unfolding, a gentle, harmonious flow that you are part of, rather than a separate entity trying to manage. In this space of quiet, you begin to experience life in its fullness. You no longer feel like an outsider looking in, or a mind trapped in a loop of its own creation. Instead, you feel deeply connected, both to yourself and to everything around you. This connection transforms how you experience joy. Joy is no longer dependent on external achievements or fleeting moments of success. It becomes something deeper, more consistent. You find it in the simplest things: a smile, the sound of laughter, the feeling of warm sunlight on your face. These moments are no longer overshadowed by mental chatter because your mind is quiet enough to truly notice and appreciate them. Joy becomes a state of being, not a destination to be reached. Even the way you perceive time changes. The voice in your head is constantly pulling you forward into the future or backward into the past, creating a sense of restlessness. But when you quiet this voice, time seems to slow down. A single moment feels rich, expansive, and complete. You realize that life doesn't pass you by because you're fully present for it. Each second becomes a gift, not something to rush through or fill with unnecessary noise. This presence also brings clarity to your purpose. When your mind is constantly filled with thoughts, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. The noise drowns out the quiet voice of your intuition, the part of you that knows what you need and what brings you fulfillment. But in the silence, this voice becomes clear. You start to see your life with new eyes, recognizing what aligns with your soul and what does not. This clarity helps you make choices that feel authentic, choices that bring you closer to your true self. You may also notice a newfound sense of freedom. When you stop identifying with the voice in your head, you're no longer bound by its limitations. You stop worrying about what others think, stop replaying old mistakes, and stop fearing the unknown. This freedom is not about escaping life, but about fully embracing it. You let go of the need to control, to predict, to plan every detail. Instead, you trust the flow of life, knowing that whatever comes, you have the strength and clarity to navigate it. This trust is a revelation. It's a reminder that life is not something to be conquered, it's something to be experienced. When you stop trying to control every outcome, you make space for possibilities you could never have imagined. You open yourself to synchronicities, to moments of grace, to the natural rhythm of existence. Life becomes less about striving and more about allowing, less about doing and more about being. And in this being, you rediscover the beauty of connection. The relationships in your life take on new depth and meaning because you're no longer distracted by your inner dialogue. You listen more fully, love more openly, and appreciate more deeply. You become a source of peace and presence for others, inspiring them to quiet their own minds and connect with their true selves. This ripple effect is one of the most beautiful aspects of this journey. Your silence becomes a gift, not just for you, but for everyone around you. Even challenges take on a new perspective. Silence doesn't mean that life becomes free of difficulty, but it does mean you approach challenges with greater resilience and grace. When you're not consumed by mental chatter, you're better able to see solutions, respond thoughtfully, and stay grounded. You realize that you don't have to control every situation to find peace. You simply have to remain present, allowing each moment to unfold as it will. This journey of quieting the mind is not about perfection. There will be days when the voice in your head feels louder than ever, when old habits pull you back into overthinking. But each of these moments is an opportunity, a chance to return to the present, to reconnect with the silence within you. Over time, this practice becomes second nature. The mind's chatter loses its grip, and the stillness becomes your home. As you reflect on this journey, consider this. The silence you seek is not something outside of you. It's not something you have to earn or achieve. It's already there, waiting beneath the noise, ready to be rediscovered. Each time you take a breath, each time you bring your awareness back to the present, you move closer to this silence. And in that silence you find not only peace, but also the truest version of yourself. This isn't about suppressing your thoughts or becoming someone else. It's about realizing that you are more than your thoughts. You are the awareness that observes them, the stillness that remains even when the mind is noisy. This realization is liberating, because it reminds you that you are not defined by your worries, your fears, or your past. You are something far greater, something timeless and infinite. So take a moment now to pause. Close your eyes. Feel the rhythm of your breath, the beat of your heart, the stillness within you. This is where life happens, not in the stories your mind creates, but in the quiet presence of the now. When you stop talking to yourself, you don't lose control, you gain freedom. You don't lose your identity, you uncover your true essence. And you don't lose your connection to life, you deepen it. This is the power of silence. It's not just the absence of noise, it's the presence of everything that matters. It's clarity, peace, and connection. It's the freedom to live fully, without the weight of mental chatter. And it's available to you right now, in this moment, simply by letting go of the voice in your head and stepping into the silence of the now.